Okay, let's just get right into it. If you think your next FDA audit is going to be the same old song and dance about GMPs, well, you might be in for a rude awakening. The game has totally changed. And today, we're going to break down the new playbook, the one you absolutely need to know, ICH Q10. So I'm going to start with a pretty tough question, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Is your quality system a modern, strategic asset, or is it just a collection of old habits that could, blow up in your face during an inspection? Seriously, if you're still treating quality like it's just the police department, you might be sitting on a ticking time bomb.
But hey, don't worry. There's a way to defuse that bomb and build something way more robust in its place. And that blueprint? That is ICH Q10. It is the model for what we call a modern pharmaceutical quality system, or PQS. And a PQS is, well, it's basically the entire operational nervous system that makes sure your product quality is on point.
The best way to think about ICH Q10 is like a giant umbrella. Now, it doesn't replace your regional GMPs. Those are still the foundation. Instead, it sits over them, bringing in these bigger, smarter quality management ideas from the world of ISO. And what this does is create one single cohesive system that covers the entire product lifecycle. I mean everything, from the second an idea is born in R&D to the day you take that product off the market. And you gotta know, Q10 isn't just a standalone document. Nope, it's really the final, powerful piece of what we call the Quality Trinity. It all starts with ICH Q8, which is all about designing quality into your product from day one. Quality by design. Then comes ICH Q9, which gives you the tools for managing risk. And finally, Q10 is the capstone that pulls it all together and creates the overarching system to make it all work in the real world.
So why do all this? What's the point? Well, ICH Q10 really has three main goals. First, achieve product realization. That's just a fancy way of saying consistently make a safe and effective product. Second, establish and maintain a state of control over your processes. And third, and you've got to listen to this one because this is what the FDA is obsessed with right now, is to facilitate continual improvement. They don't expect you to be perfect. They expect you to always be getting better.
Okay, so how do we actually build this thing? Well, a PQS really rests on four foundational pillars. These are the absolute non-negotiables. These are the things that FDI inspectors are going to be looking for, guaranteed.
These four pillars, they're the beating heart of your entire system. So let's run through them. First, process monitoring. Are you actively watching your data and looking for trends before things go wrong, or are you just reacting to failures? Second, your CAPA system. Are you really digging deep for the root cause? Third, change management. Is every single change, no matter how tiny it seems, backed by a solid, science-based risk assessment? And last but not least, management review. Is your senior leadership, your C-suite, actually in the room, looking at the quality data and engaged in the process? Because without these four things working together, you don't really have a system. You just have a binder full of SOPs, which is just a list of instructions without a strategy.
This gets right to the core of what the FDA wants to see from your CAPA system now. They're so tired of seeing retrain the operator as the solution to every problem. That's just fixing the leak. They want to know you figured out why the pipe burst in the first place. Did you look at the process, the equipment, the raw materials? You have to prove you're preventing it from ever happening again. So, those four pillars are your foundation. But what makes them actually strong and effective? Well, that's where two critical enablers come into play. You can think of these as your secret weapons for making the whole system click. So your two secret weapons are knowledge management and quality risk management. Knowledge management is pretty simple, really. It's about having a system to capture what you learn from your successes and your failures. The goal? To stop solving the same problem over and over again. And quality risk management, which we get from ICH Q9, is all about using structured tools to think about what could go wrong before it goes wrong. It helps you focus your precious time and money on the risks that actually matter.
And let me tell you, having a solid, well-documented risk assessment, it's almost like having a get-out-of-jail-free card during an audit. Why? Because it proves to the inspector that you've been proactive. It shows them you've already thought critically about the what-ifs, and you have a scientific reason for the controls you have in place. It just screams maturity and competence, which is exactly what you want when you're under that kind of scrutiny.
All right, let's get super practical. The inspector is at your front door. The audit has begun. What are the actual tangible things they're going to ask to see to prove your ICH Q10 system is real and not just a bunch of fancy documents? Here's your checklist, what you need to have ready. Number 1, where's your quality policy and is it signed by your most senior leadership? That shows commitment from the top. 2,
Can you pull up your trending charts right now and show them that your process is in a state of control? 3. How are your CAPAs doing? Are they getting closed on time or are they languishing? And 4. This is a big one. Can you draw a clear, logical line from the data you gathered back in development under Q8 to the process controls you're using on the factory floor today? So, look, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. We have to stop thinking of ICH Q10 as another regulatory hurdle we just have to clear. That's the old way of thinking. When you do it right, it's actually an incredibly powerful framework that can give your company a serious competitive edge. And here's the real payoff. This is what it's all about. A strong PQS means you understand your own processes so much better. And that means less waste, fewer failed batches. It means you spot risks before they turn into catastrophic, expensive recalls. And yeah, of course, it means your audits go smoother and you stay compliant with the FDA. It's a win for the business, a win for the regulators, and most importantly, it's a huge win for the patient.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. Take a good hard look at your own company. Is your quality system just a reactive function that exists to check boxes and pass audits? Or is it a proactive, integrated system that makes you more efficient, reduces your risk, and is actually helping to drive the entire business forward? Because the answer to that question, well, that's going to define your success in this new landscape.